11:47 p.m. I turned on the baby monitor thinking my daughter was crying, but it wasn't. It was the sound of my wife, moaning another man's name. I was right upstairs, in the tiny garage apartment she let me stay in after saying we needed space. For 2 months, I believed it was my fault, that I was the reason our marriage was falling apart. I believed her tears, her words. I just need time to figure things out. But no, she didn't want space. She wanted cover. She's been living with her boyfriend, in our house. And worse, they've been building a fake psychiatric file on me, planning to drug me, and preparing to take custody of our daughter, along with the company I founded. I survived 3 deployments in the Middle East. Now I have to survive something even dirtier, family court. This isn't just my story. It's the story of any father who's been pushed out of the very home he built. If you've ever been through anything like this, stick around, because you need to hear the rest. I pulled up the security feed, and there it was. A silver BMW with Virginia plates, parked in the driveway like it belonged there. I didn't even have to think. The license plate burned into my mind instantly. Military reflex, RMX 471, standard model, clean exterior, tinted windows. Not the kind of car that belonged to her mom, her friends, or anyone I recognized. I knew one thing for sure. That car wasn't supposed to be there. Not at that hour. Not while I was banned from the house. Not with Amanda moaning a stranger's name through the baby monitor. It took me less than an hour to trace it. The car was registered to Brent Donovan, a financial consultant, mid-40s, divorced, no kids. He'd worked with Amanda's marketing firm on a few high-profile campaigns. Photos of them together on LinkedIn, tagged at work events, fundraising dinners. I remembered his name now. She'd mentioned him a few times, casually, too casually. This guy Brent, he's just intense. Yeah, intense enough to sleep in my bed, in my house, while I lived above the garage like an idiot. I wasn't just angry, I was focused, and I knew exactly what to do next. I started recording everything. If they wanted to build a case against me, I'd build one against them first. I planted a voice-activated recorder behind the outlet in the hallway, another one in the baby's room, disguised inside a white noise machine, tiny camera behind the bookshelf in the living room, one in the kitchen, wired through the vent hood, Bluetooth speaker in the bedroom, swapped for one with internal storage, every angle, every sound, covered. Amanda had no idea. She thought I was still the quiet, predictable Jack who fixed light bulbs and paid the mortgage on time. Let her think that. The first clip that came back made my stomach turn. Amanda's voice laughing. "He has no idea," she said. "Still living out there in that damn garage like a loyal dog." Brent laughed too. "Soon he'll be out completely." They clinked glasses. She sounded happy, carefree. Like our entire life together, our daughter, meant nothing. She called me clueless, pathetic. And maybe I had been, but not anymore. They thought I was stupid. They had no idea who they were actually dealing with. Brent's voice came through next. "So, when do we make the move?" Amanda didn't even pause. "I've already started the file. Emotional instability, drinking, unemployment. The judge will see a broken man who can't take care of a child." She sipped something. "Once I've got full custody, I can leverage his stake in the business." "You think he'll sign it over?" Brent asked. "He won't want to fight once he knows he'll lose Emily." She said it like it was a strategy, like my daughter was a chess piece. And my business, my life's work, just a bargaining chip. They weren't trying to win. They were planning a war. So was I. But then it got worse, much worse. Amanda mentioned something called chemical assistance, something to trigger a breakdown. Brent sounded cautious. "You're talking about actually drugging him?" She laughed. "I know someone. It won't be traceable. Just enough to get him acting erratic during the custody hearing." I stopped the playback. My hand was shaking, not from fear, from clarity. They were planning to poison me, destroy my credibility, take my child, and walk away clean. I wasn't going to let that happen, not without a fight. I reached out to the only person I thought might still believe in right and wrong. Rachel, Amanda's older sister. We met at a coffee shop, 15 miles out of town, neutral ground. I brought printed transcripts, doctored to remove any trace of the illegal surveillance, but damning enough to shake her. She flipped through the pages, silent at first. I watched her lips tighten, her eyes go cold. "This can't be real," she said. "It is," I replied. She read one line again, then another, and finally whispered, "Amanda's really going to do this." Rachel stared at the documents like they were radioactive. She leaned in and whispered, "She told me you were spiraling, talking to yourself, drinking during the day. She asked me to document everything, said you were a danger to Emily." I shook my head. "You ever seen me drunk?" "No." "Talking to myself?" She hesitated. "I have a video," she said. "You're pacing around the garage, gesturing, muttering." I closed my eyes. Of course she had a video. And of course Amanda twisted it. I told Rachel the truth. That video? It was a conference call. Client in Singapore. Bluetooth headset. It's called Working. She blinked, then looked down again at the transcript. Her expression shifted, from suspicion to something close to shame. "I think she's trying to trap you," she said. I nodded. "And I need your help to stop it." Rachel didn't say yes right away, but she didn't say no either. She just folded the transcripts, slid them into her purse, and said, "What do you need me to do?" Rachel believed me. Fully. Maybe it was the transcripts. Maybe it was the look in my eyes. A man who'd been pushed too far, too long. She reached across the table, squeezed my hand, and said, "If this goes to court, I'll testify." That meant everything. Amanda's own sister, her closest ally, now standing with me. Not because I asked, but because she'd seen the truth. "I've known Amanda my whole life," Rachel said, "and I've never seen her like this. Calculated. Cold. Like she's playing a game she's sure she'll win." I nodded. "She's already laid the pieces on the board." Rachel's eyes narrowed. "Then let's flip the board." That night, I dug deeper. Amanda's digital footprint was cleaner than I expected, but not perfect. Old emails, Dropbox files, private messages with Brent she forgot to delete. It was all there. For over a year, she'd been laying groundwork, gathering witness statements, manipulating friends, creating false narratives about my mental state. She'd even started leaking things to Emily's preschool teachers. Jack seemed tired. Jack looked distant today, planting seeds, turning suspicion into evidence. Every move, calculated. Every lie, designed to isolate me, and it almost worked. Until now. A few days later, Amanda texted me, "Dinner at the house Thursday, for Emily's sake." It was bait, but I took it, smiled through the reply. "Sure, I'd like that." I knew it was a setup. She wanted a scene. She wanted me to snap. Or, worse, she wanted me to swallow something I shouldn't. That night, I shaved, put on a clean shirt, brought a bottle of wine, didn't open it. She'd already laid out 2 glasses, and one of them was already poured. Merlot. One of our old anniversary wines. I knew what this was. Not romance. Rohypnol. She handed me the glass. "You've been looking better lately." "Garage apartment's quiet," I said. "Gives me time to think." She smiled, too wide. "To think about us?" I raised the glass to my lips, tilted it just enough, let the wine touch my tongue, but didn't swallow. I let it sit there, bitter and heavy, then swallowed. Nothing. I made the motion, the reflex. She saw it. Her shoulders eased, a glint of victory in her eyes. We ate in silence. She kept checking the clock, waiting for something. Slurred speech, stumbling, confusion, but none of that came, because I never drank it. After dinner, I kissed Emily goodnight, thanked Amanda, and walked out with the wine glass tucked safely inside a Ziploc bag. Back in the garage, I called Howren, retired PI, old school, still had friends in forensic labs. He didn't ask many questions. "What's in the glass?" Wine, I said. Possibly laced. He grunted. Drop it off tomorrow. Cash only. And if this is what I think it is... He paused. You'd better be ready for what comes next. I was ready. Had been. Since the moment Amanda said, we need space. 3 days later, the report came back. Positive. Rohypnol. Enough to knock out a grown man for hours. My pulse didn't even spike. I just stared at the paper, letting the words settle like dust. Proof. Undeniable. She tried to drug me, tried to make me look insane. Amanda, the mother of my child, the woman I married, was now trying to medically dismantle me. This wasn't betrayal. It was warfare. And now I had my first weapon. Next came Brent. I tracked his routine. He left work every day at 6:15 p.m. Same parking lot, same BMW. I waited 2 blocks down, engine running, hands steady. When he appeared, I stepped out. Brent Donovan? He turned, startled. Do we know each other? Not yet, I said. I held up a photo. Amanda leaving his apartment last month. He went pale. What do you want? To talk. About custody. About drugs. About breaking into my house. His eyes darted. He knew. And then he swung. His punch came fast, but wild. He wasn't a fighter, just a desperate man, trying to make me look unhinged. I stepped aside, let him stumble past, then grabbed his wrist, twisted, just enough to send him to the ground. He landed hard. Palms scraped, pride shattered. He called me a psycho, threatened to call the cops. I smiled. Please do. I'd love to explain the wine, the recordings, your plan to fake a breakdown. He froze, realized. There were cameras overhead, security footage showing him attacking me walking away. Perfect. 2 days later, Amanda filed an emergency custody petition, claimed I was violent, unstable, dangerous. Her statement included Brent's version of the parking lot fight, which now read like a police thriller. Unprovoked assault, he wrote, in fear for my life. They were moving fast, trying to paint me as a threat. Amanda's lawyer added photographs, me in my garage window, hands waving, mouth moving. They said I was talking to myself, losing grip. But I had everything ready, because they weren't the only ones recording things now. I hired Margaret Walsh, top-tier family law attorney, sharp, calm, terrifying in heels. She read the emergency filing, didn't blink once. This is built on emotion, not evidence, she said. Good, because I have evidence. I handed her the forensics report, the transcripts, the photos, the footage from Brent's attack. She flipped through silently, then looked up and said, They tried to drug you? I nodded. She sat back. This is going to get ugly. Already is. Then let's give them a reason to be scared. I gave Margaret everything. The wine glass, sealed and tested. The forensic report, confirming Rohypnol. The audio recordings. Amanda and Brent discussing custody, mental instability, financial leverage. And finally, the security footage. 2:17 a.m. Brent and Amanda creeping into my garage apartment. Flashlight, pry bar, gloves, caught on infrared. She stared at the footage. Quiet, calm, calculating. Then she looked up. This isn't just evidence, she said. It's a story. A story the judge won't be able to ignore. For the first time in weeks, I felt like I had a real shot. Not just at clearing my name, but at getting my daughter back. Margaret leaned forward. Now I need to ask something hard. Is there anything at all that could damage your case? Old mistakes? Skeletons? Illegal surveillance? I hesitated. I thought of the hidden mics, the camera behind the baby monitor, the motion sensor in the bookshelf. Technically illegal. Ethically complicated. But without them, I'd be ruined. I took a breath. Nothing that matters, I said. Margaret didn't press. She just nodded. We'll keep it clean. Let them get dirty. Later that day, I got a call from Rachel. I have an idea, she said. Amanda keeps asking about your aunt's estate. She thinks there's a big inheritance coming. There isn't, I replied. She doesn't know that. Rachel's voice dropped to a whisper. What if we gave her a letter? something official looking, from an estate attorney, just enough to make her bite. It was a dangerous idea, but brilliant. Amanda had always been obsessed with money and leverage, and pretending she knew more than she did. I told Rachel, let's do it. We mocked up the letter, fancy legal letterhead, formal language, words like probate and liquid assets, and pending resolution. Amount listed, $340,000. Signed, L. Carrington, Esquirru, Pittsburgh, PA. I left it out, folded neatly. Top page of a messy stack, exactly where Amanda would see it if she happened to drop by. 3 nights later, she and Brent broke in again. Same entrance, same timing. 2:17 a.m. Only this time, I was ready for every second of it. They moved quickly. Amanda whispered, check his desk. Brent flipped through folders. Amanda found the letter first, held it up to the light, took a photo with her phone. This is it, she said. $340 plus his business share. Brent, should we take it? Amanda, no, if it disappears, he'll know. Better to let him think it's safe. They went through my medicine cabinet, looked for prescriptions, empty. Brent muttered, he's hiding the real stuff. Amanda replied, or maybe he's just unraveling on his own. Every second, captured. Every lie, documented. Then came the line, the one that sealed everything. Amanda, if he can't manage his finances, we can argue he can't manage custody. Judges eat that up. Brent, especially with the inheritance hanging over his head. Amanda, exactly. We paint him as reckless, paranoid, financially unstable, emotionally volatile. I sat in the garage, watching the footage live, feeling something shift. This wasn't just manipulation anymore. It was fraud. It was premeditated, and I was going to bury them with it. I brought the footage to Margaret the next morning, didn't say a word, just hit play. She watched them break in, watched Amanda lie, plan, manipulate. When it ended, she exhaled, long, controlled. Are you sure you want to use this? She asked. Yes. This is the nuclear option. Then drop it, I said. Margaret nodded. We'll hold it until court. Let them make their move first, then we flip the table. But I wasn't done. I went one step further. I contacted the IRS tip line, filed an anonymous complaint about Brent Donovan, suspicious transfers, client funds moved off record, all based on Howard's digging. Margaret said, you're playing hardball. I looked her dead in the eye. They started this. I'm just ending it. She smiled. Remind me never to cross you. That made 2 of us. Then came court. Amanda took the stand first. Tears, soft voice, the image of a mother scared for her child. She painted me as a PTSD-ridden veteran, unemployed, drinking in the garage, pacing, mumbling to himself. She presented photos, me talking during a Zoom call, spun into psychosis. Brent backed her up, swore I attacked him, called me dangerous. The judge nodded quietly, taking notes. Their story was landing, until it wasn't. Then Margaret stood, poised, controlled, deadly. She introduced Exhibit A, the wine glass, with lab results, Rohypnol confirmed. Exhibit B, the security footage, Amanda and Brent breaking and entering, whispering about strategy. Exhibit C, the fake inheritance that they believed was real, that they tried to steal. The courtroom went silent. Amanda's face lost all color. Brent shifted in his seat. Margaret looked straight at the judge. Your Honor, what we're seeing here is not concern for a child. It's a coordinated campaign to discredit, control, and steal. She paused. And my client has the proof. The courtroom was dead silent. Even the judge looked stunned. Amanda stared straight ahead, stone-faced, but pale. No more tears, no more performance, just quiet panic. Brent didn't say a word, didn't even try to defend himself. He folded, like a cheap suit in a summer storm. Margaret sat back, calm, confident. She had just dismantled their case piece by piece. The judge looked down at her notes, then at Amanda. Her voice was sharp. Mrs. Miller, Do you have anything else to add? Amanda shook her head, trembling. That was the moment she lost, but she didn't go quietly. As court adjourned, Amanda snapped, screaming, "You're all blind! He's manipulating everything! He's dangerous!" She tried to lunge at Margaret. Security stopped her. The judge slammed the gavel. "I'm ordering a full psychological evaluation." Amanda shrieked, "You're all making a mistake." "Ma'am, sit down." "I won't. He's lying. They're all lying." Court officers escorted her out, still screaming. Rachel watched it unfold from the back row, hands over her mouth. I just sat there, silent, because I didn't have to say a thing. The truth had already spoken. As Amanda was being dragged out the front, Brent was being cuffed out the back. 2 plainclothes IRS agents approached him just outside the courtroom. "Brent Donovan?" He nodded, confused. "You're under investigation for financial misconduct, embezzlement. You'll need to come with us." His face turned white. He glanced at Amanda, who didn't even look back. Then he looked at me. "I hope it was worth it," I said. They led him away. Another lie undone, another threat removed, and still, I didn't feel relief. Not yet, because Amanda wasn't finished. That night she called, sobbing. "Jack, please. We need to talk." "About what?" "About fixing this. About Emily. About us." There was a long pause. Then came the shift. "It was Brent. He convinced me. He said you were dangerous." I didn't respond. She kept going. "I made mistakes, but I still love you." Another pause. "Don't throw everything away." I finally spoke. "You already did." "No, Jack, please. You don't understand what he did to me." I stayed silent. She whispered, "I'm still your wife." I said, "Not for long." I didn't yell, didn't argue, just said one thing. "I heard everything." Silence. I continued. "I have the tapes, Amanda, the recordings. You plotted to drug me. You called me clueless. You said Emily was better off without me." Another silence. Then came her voice, flat now. "You recorded us?" I protected myself. "That's illegal." "Maybe." She inhaled sharply. Then, "You're going to regret this." I hung up. I didn't need to hear another word, because everything I needed to know, I already knew. Later that night, Rachel called. "Jack, she's losing it." "What now?" She showed up at my place, screaming about betrayal. Said you poisoned her life. Said she'd destroy you no matter what. "She's unraveling," I said. Rachel hesitated. "She's talking about getting Emily back, about fixing the family. She said you still love her." "I loved who she used to be. She doesn't see the difference." I sighed. "She's not done." "No," Rachel replied. "She's desperate now, and desperate people make dangerous choices." 3 days later, a letter appeared at my door, handwritten, no stamp, no envelope, just a folded note slid under the garage door. It read, "Jack, I have something that belongs to you. Come to the garage at 8 p.m., alone. A." It wasn't a request. It was a trap. I knew it. But ignoring her would only escalate things, and I had to control the narrative. On my terms, my rules, my turf. I texted one person, Howard. "Need backup, 8 p.m., stay outside." I wore a mic under my shirt, fully charged. Audio routed to Howard's recorder outside. I had a spare phone in my pocket, live streaming audio. I approached the garage like it was a battlefield. Same place where everything began. Same place it would end. Amanda was already inside, pacing, tense. She looked thinner, eyes bloodshot, like she hadn't slept in days. "You came," she said. "You asked me to," I replied. She gestured to a chair. "I want to talk." I didn't sit. I just said, "Start talking." Her tone softened. "I'll give it all up. The house, the business, Emily." I blinked. She kept going. "I'll sign whatever you want. I just need one thing in return." "What?" "Your silence." I stared at her. You don't want me pressing charges? She nodded. No break-in, no drugs, no court. All of that, gone. If you agree to keep quiet. I tilted my head. You're negotiating? She stepped closer. I'm giving you everything, Jack. Please. Let's stop this. I almost responded. Then I heard the sound. Footsteps. Heavy. Unsteady. Coming up the side stairs. The door slammed open. Brent. Drunk. Eyes bloodshot. Slurring. In his hand, a tire iron. Well, well, the happy couple. Plotting my downfall? Amanda went pale. I told you not to come. You told me he'd be here, Brent growled. And here he is. He staggered inside. I lost everything because of you. He pointed the tire iron at me. I'm not done yet. I took a step back, slowly, hands open, trying to calm him. But it was too late. He was past reason. Brent's voice cracked with rage. He pointed the tire iron at Amanda now. You lying bitch, he spat. You told me you were on birth control. Amanda froze. He kept going. You told me you wanted a future, that this was ours. Then you tell him the baby's his? She stammered something, but the words didn't land. He took a step forward, wild-eyed. Fake pregnancy, fake loyalty. You lied to both of us. I'd seen this kind of rage before, in war zones, in men who thought they'd lost everything. And that's when I knew he was about to snap. Brent lunged. I didn't wait, didn't hesitate. I grabbed the wrench from my workbench, swung low, fast, center mass. It connected with his gut. He crumpled forward, gasping for breath. Amanda screamed, Jack! Oh my God! Did you kill him? I didn't answer. I knelt down, checked Brent's pulse. Strong. He was unconscious but alive, just long enough to stop being dangerous. Amanda knelt beside him, trembling. What did you do? I looked at her coldly. What I had to. And then I reached for my phone. I called Howard first. Inside. It escalated. Then 911. Man down. Tire iron attack. Self-defense. Send police now. They arrived fast, sirens cutting through the quiet night. 2 officers entered, weapons drawn. I raised my hands. He's down. I disarmed him. They checked Brent, cuffed him, started taking statements. Amanda sat on the steps, rocking back and forth. I gave the cops my ID, the audio, pointed out the cameras, then turned back to Amanda. And that's when she pulled out the ultrasound photo from her purse. I'm pregnant, she said, breathless. This baby, it's yours. She held out the photo like it was proof of innocence. A last-minute card to play. The image was grainy. The name on the corner read, Amanda Miller. Date stamped 6 weeks ago. I stared at it, then looked at her. You're serious? She nodded. Tears now. Real or fake, I couldn't tell. We can fix this, she whispered. Start again. You, me, Emily, the baby. But I wasn't listening to the words. I was reading the numbers. The ultrasound said 8 weeks. But the night we reconnected, that was over 13 weeks ago. I looked up slowly. Math never lies. You're 5 weeks short, I said. She blinked. What? I pointed to the scan. 8 weeks. That means the baby's not mine. Amanda's lip trembled. No, I meant I got the scan late. It's really 11, maybe 12. Then it should say that. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. Just the look of someone whose final move had just failed. I stepped back. You lied. Again. No, Jack, listen. I did. I listened. I listened to your calls, to your plans, to your voice on a monitor while you moaned someone else's name. Her face cracked. I dropped the photo at her feet. 8 weeks. 13 weeks. Do the math, Amanda. This baby isn't mine. She collapsed against the wall, shaking. Whispers falling out of her mouth, but none of them made sense anymore. I turned, and that's when I heard the groan behind me. Brent was waking up. He sat up slowly, holding his ribs, eyes unfocused. What happened? Amanda ran to him. Brent, just listen, it's okay. But I cut in. She's pregnant. Brent froze. I nodded. And she told me it's mine. He looked at her. You told me. Amanda backed away. Brent, I was confused. Don't. He stood, barely steady. You lied to both of us? Brent, you told me you wanted this. She told you that too? I said. He looked between us and realized he'd been played just as hard as I had. The lead officer stepped in. Mr. Donovan, he said, you're under arrest for assault with a deadly weapon. Brent didn't resist, just stared blankly at Amanda. I hope it was worth it, he muttered. You get nothing from me. No child support, no future. You and your kid can rot. Amanda collapsed onto the garage steps, shaking, sobbing. The tire iron lay at her feet, a symbol of everything she'd tried and failed to control. One officer stayed with her. The rest took Brent away. No one said a word. Not long after, Rachel arrived. She stood at the edge of the driveway, didn't approach, didn't speak. She looked at Amanda, then at me. Her expression wasn't anger. It wasn't even pity. It was something colder, something final. She shook her head once, a gesture that said, "This is beyond fixing." Then she helped Amanda to her feet, didn't say a word the entire time, didn't even look back as they walked away. I just stood there, silent, alone, and for the first time, free. Back in the garage, I picked up the ultrasound photo from the floor, folded it, slipped it into an envelope. Then I addressed it to Brent's attorney. Let him decide if he wanted to pursue paternity, child support, or just walk away. That wasn't my war anymore. I wasn't going to be pulled back in. I'd fought enough, lost enough, survived enough. From here on out, I was choosing peace, but not for Amanda, not for Brent, for Emily, because she deserved better than all of this. The custody hearing was scheduled for the following Tuesday. I showed up in a suit that didn't quite fit, but I stood tall. Margaret was already inside, stack of files, calm as ever. Amanda never arrived. No lawyer, no statement, no excuse. The court clerk called her name once, then again. Nothing. Judge Morrison glanced at Margaret. Any updates from the opposing party? Margaret stood. No, Your Honor. We have not heard from Mrs. Miller or her counsel. The judge nodded, straightened her glasses, and in less than 10 minutes awarded me full custody by default, with a footnote in the court record, a demonstrated pattern of manipulative behavior and parental unfitness. I didn't cheer, didn't smile. I just whispered, "Thank you." Because justice, when it comes, doesn't always feel like victory. Sometimes it just feels like breath. Rachel brought Emily over that same afternoon. The second she saw me, she dropped her little backpack, ran straight into my arms. "Daddy!" Her voice cracked something inside me. I knelt down, held her close, tighter than I probably should have. She pulled back, looked up. "Are you coming home now?" I swallowed hard. "No, sweetheart. We're going somewhere better. Just you and me." Rachel watched us from the doorway, eyes full of something unspoken. "I packed her things," she said quietly. "Everything from her room. And I added the butterfly magnet drawings." I nodded. "Thank you." She stepped out, then paused. "She's safe now, Jack. Make sure she stays that way." I nodded again. "I will." That evening, Emily and I packed up what little I had left, some clothes, a few tools, her books, and the last remnants of a life that didn't belong to us anymore. The garage felt colder now, emptier, not because things were missing, but because I'd outgrown the pain it held. I tucked Emily into the small mattress I'd laid beside mine. She held her stuffed giraffe tight. "Where will our new house be?" she asked sleepily. "I don't know yet," I said, "but it'll have sunshine, and no yelling, and your own room." She smiled with her eyes half closed. "Can I have a pink wall?" "2," I whispered. "Maybe even 3." She giggled once and drifted off. I sat beside her for a long time, listening to her breathe. I poured myself a glass of whiskey, the last bottle left on the shelf. But when I held it up, I saw the reflection in the kitchen window. My face. Not angry, not broken, just tired. And done. I poured the drink down the sink, watched it swirl and disappear, then grabbed the last envelope on the counter. Brent's sentencing file. 18 months in federal prison for embezzlement. All his licenses revoked. Assets frozen. His future, gone. Amanda? She'd checked herself into a treatment facility. Voluntary commitment. Likely under pressure from her lawyer. Diagnosis? Borderline personality disorder. Narcissistic tendencies. Suggested treatment. Long-term therapy. Supervised visitation, if any. Emily was officially mine now. Not just on paper, but in every way that mattered. And for the first time in a long time, I started imagining a life forward. A small home in the suburbs, a swing set, preschool drop-offs, bedtime stories that didn't end in fights. I reopened the laptop, typed an email to a realtor in San Antonio. Subject: ready to relocate, quiet neighborhood preferred. I clicked send, closed the lid, and exhaled. This wasn't just an ending. It was a beginning. Hard-earned, blood-stained, but real. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. One line of text. You think you've won? This isn't over. A. I stared at it for a long moment. Not angry, not afraid, just sad. I deleted it. Didn't reply. Because people like Amanda, they don't change. They just move to a different mask. But I was done playing, done reacting, done dancing in the chaos. Some wars don't end with winners and losers, just survivors. And I'd survived. Now it was time to live. Before bed, I checked on Emily one more time. She was fast asleep, arms stretched wide like wings, safe, unbothered, protected. I turned off the light, sat on the edge of my old twin mattress, and listened. To silence. No baby monitor crackling with betrayal. No whispered plots behind walls. No late-night footsteps climbing the stairs. Just peace. It was new. It was strange. But it was mine. And no one, no judge, no lawyer, no liar, was going to take it from me again. I packed the last box that morning, labeled it, Garage Never Again. Emily helped tape it shut. We loaded the car, her booster seat clicked in, her backpack on her lap. She looked at me. Can I pick our new house? Absolutely, I said. Can it have a garden? And a dog, I added. She grinned. We drove away. Not fast, not dramatic, just forward, leaving behind a house, a garage, a woman, and a war. Because what's behind me is over, and everything ahead is ours. I didn't win in the way people think. There was no celebration, no victory speech, no parade, just me, a little girl, and the open road. But I did survive. I kept my daughter, I kept my name, and I reclaimed the truth. Brent is behind bars, Amanda is behind locked doors, and I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Not perfect, not healed, but free. Free to build again, free to parent without fear, and free to teach my daughter what love really looks like. Because she deserves that. We both do. We didn't drive to a mansion. We didn't end up in some perfect fairy tale suburb. Just a small rental house with creaky floors, chipped paint, and a front porch that caught the morning light. But it was ours. No secrets in the walls, no cameras, no court orders, just quiet. That first night, I tucked Emily into bed. She looked at me and whispered, "Is this home now?" I smiled. "Yeah, kiddo, this is home." And when I turned off the light, it wasn't silence that filled the room. It was peace. People think survival looks like glory, like strength. But sometimes, survival just means you didn't give up. You kept breathing, kept showing up, kept choosing truth over comfort, dignity over revenge, your child over your pride. I didn't win a battle, I didn't destroy my enemies, I outlived them. And that is enough. So if you're listening to this, if you've ever felt powerless, voiceless, outnumbered, you're not. You're just in the middle of the storm. But storms pass, and when they do, build something no one can take from you, like I did, with nothing but scars, and a daughter who still calls me daddy. And hey, if this story meant something to you, if it reminded you of something you've been through or someone you used to be, tell me. Drop a comment, share your truth. Because stories like this, they don't just belong to me, they belong to all of us who've walked through hell and kept walking. And if you want to hear more stories like this, hit that subscribe button. There's more coming. Stories that don't flinch, stories that fight, stories that survive, just like you did.